Many people talk about the ups and downs of married life, but no one really prepares you for life after your spouse passes away. Welcome to Widowhood Real Talk with Tina, a safe place for widows, widowers, and their friends and family to talk about love and loss. Find comfort as you listen to honest conversations between Tina and invited guests who've experienced the loss of their forever partner. Share their stories of love, grief, and healing. You are not alone in this journey. Join today's episode and discover a wealth of resources and learn how to connect with others who are traveling the same path. This is Widowhood Real Talk with Tina.
What does a man do when he feels like he wants to quit after his wife and his newborn child dies? What does a man do when the world doesn't give him the opportunity to cry and to grieve? What does a man do when he feels alone and isolated and searching for answers? This is a conversation we're going to have now with Mr. James Price to answer these questions from his perspective and more. Let's get into this conversation now. Hello, James. Welcome to the Widowhood.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me to the Widowhood. Like, does that sound weird coming off the tongue or does that sound natural? What does that mean for you?
It's kind of both. It feels a little weird, but also it feels natural as well because it's been, 8 years for me now. So, it feels kind of natural. It's not too bad, but I understand if someone thinks it's a little too much or a little weird, but it's okay.
8 years. You and I are on the same timeline
Yeah.
of
hmm
8 years. And I wanted to have this conversation with you for a lot of different reasons. One, you have been part of helping me build this community. You lead our men's only grief support meeting. And your journey has changed, I'm guessing, over the years with your children and just where it is. And I think it's important to bring your voice to this conversation.
Yes. It's just an honor. It's absolute honor to be here with you, to be a part of what you're doing, outlet that you've created to allow people to just be able to express grief because so many people just don't have that. So you have tapped into something that's really needed in society, and being able to help do work with you on this is just, I'm just honored to be able to do it. It's just such an honor. I really am.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And you mentioned about people not having a safe space to be able to share how they feel. What does that look like? Obviously, not giving people's names because you're working with men, but what have you learned about other people's journey in grief and not having that?
Well, what I've learned is a lot. I've learned a lot. I've learned that people uh, do other things that'll help them deal with grief. They turn to alcohol.
Yes,
Um, they turn to sex. I mean, we're
yes.
all adults on here, so
Oh,
I
for
can
sure.
say that.
That's why it's called
You
real
know,
talk.
exactly. They turn to sex. They turn to drugs. And when I learned, I'm like, wow, everybody really does not have the same mindset that I have, but this helped me understand that, we're individuals. So we face things a little bit different. And I would tell them like, man, that is not the way to go. You don't want to make your grieving period worse because drugs and alcohol will definitely not make it better. So that was something that I learned as well, and it took me for a loop because I really didn't know that people would willingly turn to drugs. But I could see alcohol, but the stigma in the community that I grew up in is that you definitely stay away from drugs. But people were turning to drugs. So I was trying to do the best I could and what I can to help them. Don't make it worse because that's all it will do. Just make your life much worse, and just focus on why you're still here. You're still here for a reason. You don't have
Mm,
to just say, okay, my life is over, I'm done, and I can't do this because I felt that way too. I felt that way. I said, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to be a single dad. I don't want to do any of this stuff. So if you allow it to overwhelm you, man, you'll be in a world of trouble.
Thank you for sharing that, James. And for
Yeah.
the people that are meeting you for the first time, would you give a little bit a of your journey, your wife, how you became a widower? So and I want to share that for people to understand you are not doing this as a foreigner. You're not doing this as someone that has not traveled this very difficult road.
Yes, and one of the things that I recognized that when I first became a widower, people were coming to me and they really didn't understand what I was going through, but their intentions were good. They had good intentions. They were really trying to help me. But I also recognized wasn't much they could do to help. My wife, my late wife, excuse me, she was a wonderful, wonderful woman. Wonderful woman. I didn't even think I deserved this woman. I was like, wow, she is amazing. And she likes me? What? But, she was a wonderful woman. This caught me off guard, caught everybody off guard. I didn't see this coming. When she passed away giving birth to our 3rd daughter, you know, she gave birth to our 3rd daughter. Our 3rd daughter, she also unfortunately passed away 2 months later because she went several minutes without oxygen to her brain, so she developed tremendous brain damage. So they told me, they said, "Look, we can keep her alive, but she'll be a vegetable." You know, I didn't want my child growing up that way, so I had to deal with that as well. So I wanted her life to mean something. I wanted to have meaning. So I said, "Okay, there's a lot of sick kids that need help, that needs
Mm,
organs." I said, "What I can do is to honor my baby girl, Sarah, and I can allow them to have her body and her organs. It probably will help another kid, so another parent, a parent. They don't have to go through what I'm going through right now." So I told them, I said, "You guys can take all her organs, take whatever you need that will help another kid." So I felt like a sense of pride helping another kid. I know that, you know, if my baby girl could talk, she would have told me like, "Good job, Dad." That's what I imagined. And I felt the same thing with my wife. I felt that she would have been very proud of what I did. And you know, other people told me like, "Man, that's amazing. I can't believe you've done that." I'm like, well, no, I can't either. I just felt it was a good thing, the right thing to do to try to help somebody else so they don't have to go through what I'm going through. And it took me it took me at least, I will say, 6 months before I really realized what happened to me. It took literally it took about 6 months for me to say, "Okay, my wife is gone, my daughter is gone. What next?" And I wanted to give up. I remember I remember being outside because it was a cold winter night in Metro Detroit. And I remember going out to my backyard to throw trash out. And I looked up in the sky. It was a beautiful sky. It was dark, but it was the sky was still blue, stars everywhere. And I said, I want to give up. I don't want to do this. And, you know, thank God it wasn't like suicidal or nothing like that. It was just I just didn't want to do this journey that I was on. So the moment that I said that, it was like God showed me I have to be strong for my daughters. And then I literally could see their faces right in front of me. Like, and I said, okay, okay, I have to be strong for them. So I said, okay, I'll be strong for them because they were only 7 and 4 at the time. So I said, okay, I got to be strong for my babies, man. and they helped me tremendously. They were stronger than I was. I'm telling you, they were stronger. And people, family and friends were coming to me and they said, "Look, James, we'll take the girls for a few days, a week, whatever, just so you can try to help with what you're going through, what's going on in your life." And the moment they told me that, I said, I appreciate what they were doing, but I told them, I'm going to let them stay with me. I need them. Their strength is helping me. And I said, if it weren't for my babies, I don't know where I would be. I really don't. So when people come to me and say, I turn to this or I turn to that, I totally understand that. I really do because, men that I looked at is just a strong men. These men were just weak in this moment. They were very vulnerable. And they said, I can't do this. I can't, and I understand that. So I'm grateful that I'm able, because of my unfortunate experience, being able to help others and trying to encourage people, don't give up, man. You don't have to give up because you have people that look at you. You have people that need you. So it's bigger than just you. You don't want to just give up, especially, I have my children. I couldn't just give up. They had children as well. They're not as young as my children was, but they're still your children. They still love you. They still need you. And you want to represent for them. You want to show them when times get tough in life, because it will. You want to show them, okay, dad didn't give up when he lost mom. He didn't give up when he lost my sister, that shows them that I'm not a quitter and I won't give up and I'll do whatever I have to do to, to make life better for them. It's not about me. It's about them. So yeah.
Thank you for being so transparent. You shared so much, and I want to go back and unpack some of that, if I may.
Yeah. Mhm.
The idea that your wife or your daughter would be proud of you. I often hear people, and maybe you do too, speak about some of the choices they make in the mindset of wanting to make their loved one proud with the life that they are living.
Mhm. Yeah. You know what? That is big for me. That is big. And it's like I've learned that during this process, I have to give myself a reason to even push through. And we call it a why. What is your why? So I said, okay, my daughters, that is my why. I'm not my own why. I can't be my own why. Said, you know what? My daughters, that is my why. And when just thinking about it now, I'm really, really understanding right now in this moment how important they are to my life and how that having them really blessed me tremendously. I'm like, and then I thought about, I said, man, if I were a single man, we didn't have any kids yet, would it be tougher? I couldn't answer that. I don't know if it would be tougher for me if I would just give up, but, because I even thought, I said, if I didn't have my daughters, I would have, like, moved to, like, the Dominican Republic or something and just stayed there forever and married a woman there and just had kids there or something, but I'm grateful for my daughters. They definitely gave me a why, and I still want to encourage people who may not have kids because I met a young gentleman, him and his wife never had kids. They had a wonderful relationship, a beautiful relationship, and he may not have that why as far as his kids, but there is something that everyone has. That's the reason you're here. You have to find out why you are still here and go off of that. Don't just say, okay, I don't have it because someone told me that as well. Tina, someone said, look, James, you got a church family, you got your kids, you got family and friends, and that's why you can get through this. Well, I don't have any of that. I don't have any of that. So what am I supposed to do? And I said, man, that's tough, man. That's a tough situation to be in, and I totally understand. But um, you still cannot just, I told him, I said, look at this. Even though I do have a support system, I do have family and friends that love me, they are not the ones who got me through that. It was my faith. If we're gonna be transparent and real with it, everybody may not have the same type of faith that I have. And I gotta be real whenever I talk to people. It was my faith. It was my belief in Almighty God. It was my belief in His Son, Jesus Christ. That's just the flat out truth and all it is to it. So that helped me tremendously. It helped me understand that it's more to life than what I want. It's more to life than what I feel I need. I have my children I can live for. I have my future to live for. And I know that I don't want to just leave all of that on the table and just give up. I can't just give up. I mean, even if you have if I had a pet, I would try to live for my pet. That would be my why. Something. It's nothing. It has to be something that encourages you, that inspires you to push forward, man. It has to be something. So once you get a hold of that, man, it's no telling where you can go. So
Thank you. Thank you for the transparency. I love that your faith is your grounding rod, but it's not a requirement for anybody that you support.
absolutely.
You serve them out of your faith, but it doesn't
Yes,
have to
yes,
be a requirement that the men that are coming to this group, they have to profess
yes,
that they have a relationship with God. And I think that is the beauty of Widowhood Real Talk with Tina. We are here to support anybody in their
yes,
moment of grief and on that journey because like you talked about, those for you it was 6 months, for somebody else it may be 4 years. That
yeah,
part of just being in this wilderness
yes.
mentally, this grief fog, and trying
Mhm.
to come to terms with what has happened. And also the idea, I like that you made the separation between not having suicidal ideations, but just not
Yeah,
wanting to do this journey. You weren't
yes,
actively looking to remove yourself from this world, but the thought of living in this world without your daughter and your wife in this version of life seems
mm,
so draining and hard.
yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, that you hit it right on the head. It seemed draining. I was like, "Man, I don't want to do this. This is too much for anyone to bear." And I'm questioning life. I'm questioning everything. Like, why on earth would this happen to me?
Mm,
And then I even went through the stage of blaming myself. Because my late wife used to always be on me. She would say, James, you got to start eating healthier because she was a stay at home mom. And I was always gone. I was out working my butt off. I was like, I got to take care of my family. I got to give them what they need. So I was being very unhealthy, just eating out, just grabbing a Whopper from Burger King or a Big Mac from McDonald's, whatever I could get a hold of, and I'm just eating unhealthy. And my weight ballooned. I was just gigantic. I got up to like 360 pounds. Like it was really bad. And I'm not that tall. I'm only 5'10". But I don't care if I was 7'10". You know what I mean? If you're 360 pounds, that is not healthy. So my wife was all over me like, James, I'm gonna start making baked chicken or baked food because I mean this is getting bad. And I didn't even realize how bad it was. And so she really was like, she meant so much to me. So to lose that, she took it like she paid all the bills. She managed everything. Money, I didn't even know how much we had. I'm like, how much do we have? Can I borrow $20 or something? That's how I was with her. I didn't even know. I really didn't know how much anything was. How much I didn't know how much we paid for lights or gas or anything. So and to lose that, it was like a comfortability that I had with my life. I was like, okay, I'm comfortable with this. I'm good. It's all right. Now we ain't got a lot of money, Yes, I said we ain't got. That's Louis Bonics for everybody, but I said we
But
ain't
we
got
got
a
us some peace, and that means more than any
exact
dollar. Yeah.
exactly. So I was like, hey, we're good, man. I mean, we don't have a lot of money, but we're good. And to and then all of a sudden, just all of that just changed, like just like that. I'm like, man, I'm like, what is going on? Like, what am I supposed to do? And like we just said, you have to find something that will give you meaning in life. And that I'm telling you, once you find that, then you can push through because something else I've learned that time really does heal wounds. It's for me, it did. Time just, I mean, I know it's something
No,
I've
no, no.
talked to people.
I'm gonna challenge you on this,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm gonna challenge you. If everything remained the same and time passed, would it make a difference? If you would have stayed in the space where you were at the trash can and you didn't give in to the epiphany that you felt like God was speaking to
Yes.
you, and 8 years passed and you still felt like James that walked to the trash can, is time alone a difference or what you do in the time?
You know what? I think it is what you do in that time.
And that's why I
Now,
say that because when
yeah.
people say time heals all wounds, if you're not leaning in to this
Yes,
process,
yes.
if you're not becoming an active participant, when you're having the moment where I can't do it anymore and you don't reach out to one person and you stay isolated and you don't articulate, vocalize that,
Yes.
I
Mhm.
challenge whether or not time elapsing alone is going to make a difference.
Yes, yes, and you know what? Yep, you taught me something here today. I did not look at it like that. I really did not say, well, I'm looking at myself, like that changed for me. So, correction. It was
It was a
my
challenge.
yes, and I appreciate that because that just taught me something. I'm always learning, and I'm learning today that there was a young lady who reached out to me because of my YouTube channel. She reached out to me and she said to me, even though I didn't lose a spouse, I had a spouse is divorcing me. And I feel like I'm a widower because of that. I feel like I'm a widow because of that. He's leaving me and he's never coming back. So that taught me also. I'm like, man, when I really just when she talked to me, I really it's like, wow, that's something that's big. Your spouse is gone, but and it wasn't like they passed away. I always looked at it like that grief, that type of grief is only for people that lose their spouse. But no, I was wrong. And I learned something that day is that when you lose someone in divorce, it feels like you're losing that person, you're losing them. And people also told me when, they lose their pets. So it's just opened my mind up to lots of different types of grief. And and it's just a lot to unpack. Grief is just a lot, man. It's just a lot. So that's why I love what you do, Tina. It's just you're just helping people tremendously, man. These people just don't understand what they do have through you. They have something. They have hope. I didn't know this. I mean, you reached out to me. That's how I heard about you. Widowhood Real Talk with Tina. Is you reached out to me, and I was like, okay, who is this young lady? Okay, let me look at some of the stuff she's talking about, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Really doing something that's good, that's helping others, man. And then that's what helping others is about. It's like you're putting others before yourself.
Mm.
That's what is the helping others is like you put others before yourself. And a lot of times when you help people, that's what it's about, man. Just helping other people, saying, forget me. Let me do something to help other people. So that's why I love Widowhood Real Talk with Tina. I love helping you with the man's grief call. It's just gratifying for me. So
I'm
thank
glad to
you.
hear that. James,
Yeah.
thank you for saying that. And What do you think when men hear a men's only grief support group, why is it important when you and I were talking about doing this? We had a discussion about should we, like you do one open group, I do one open group, or the value of a men's only. And when we initially had the conversation, kind of on the fence of which way to go, how do you feel now about leading a peer to peer men's only grief support group? And I also want to mention the idea of divorce. I actually feel like it's worse because it's rejection involved. It's
Yes, yes,
unnatural. You feel like a lot of things, but rejections at the root of that. Unfortunately, death is organic, it's
yes,
expected, but
yes,
making this commitment and someone turning from those vows,
yes,
I feel like that adds a different level of complication.
yes, absolutely. It's like abandonment. You feel
Yes.
abandoned by your spouse. Doesn't matter if you're a guy or a man or woman. If someone leaves you, like you're like, man, we took a vow together, and
Yes.
you're just gonna give that up. So, like, I definitely see what you're saying. That actually can be a much worse. And I thought, like, man, you lose your spouse, but man, when someone talked to me about that, I'm like, wow, that is tough, man. To have you feel
Right,
like
mentally to process that.
yeah,
I mean, you don't you
exactly.
maybe somebody can still with the kids and other stuff, but it adds
Yeah,
another level of dynamics to that loss
yes.
that
Mhm.
that and one of the widows I know, she says, "All grief is the same and all grief is different." And I'll put that in that context. Like you
Mhm.
mentioned, it could be the loss of a pet, it could be loss of your job, it could be your own
Yes.
health. So
Yes.
now you start stockpiling those on top of each other.
Mm.
My spouse passed, who was my rock, and now these
Yeah.
other things happen. What do I do? And if I am a man, who can I be vulnerable? Who can I cry
Yes.
and not be told I'm not a good man? What are some things in the dynamics of having a
Yeah.
man's only grief support group you found beneficial?
Now, in American culture, I can speak for American culture, and this may be worldwide. In American culture, men are taught you have to be tough. You gotta, grieve on your own. Don't let them see you crying,
Mm,
all of this type of stuff. I was literally taught that as a boy growing up. You don't cry in front of people, you be tough. So when you're going through a situation where okay, I'm suffering from this grief, what do I do? Who do I talk to? And you feel I don't have anyone to talk to. So like, when we set this up to help men, it's a process trying to get men say, "Okay, I'm gonna get on here and talk." I mean, some men talk and they open up, but as a whole, a lot of men just they stick to what we're taught as boys. Where they just wanna stick with that because they're comfortable with it. They're not comfortable because I wasn't comfortable, so I understand. You have to open up to people that you may not know and allow these people and their experiences to help you. You know, they have something to offer as well because sometimes they may see things that you don't see. You may see things that they don't see. So when you guys come together and you guys communicate, that you can say, "Man, I didn't recognize that." And then they can say the same thing, "Man, I didn't recognize that." So that's why that's why this is such a good thing. This is really a good thing because from my experience, women are much better at expressing their grief. Women are like 100, I was about to say a million times. It might be more than that. Women are a million times better and more comfortable than men are expressing grief. And I think it's because the way we're raised in our culture and in our society. It doesn't matter if you're from the hood and you're in poverty or not, if you're with a silver spoon in your mouth, none of that matters. We're all taught you're a man, you be tough, you just deal with it. You're taught this. I was, like I said, I was personally taught this as a kid. So women, like I said, women are much better at expressing grief. They're much better at talking it out, leaning on other people that's been through what they've been through or going through
Mm.
what they're going through, and men just, it's like pulling teeth, being like, okay, this people have got on. This people got on and said, I'll just listen to what this person is saying, and they won't say anything. They'll just sit there, But it is a good thing. It's a good thing to open yourself up and say, okay, let me just listen. Let me just learn. Maybe I can add something to them. That'll help them, something that I've been through and that I see. And, that's what you just got to open yourself up and just allow someone to be able to help you. So that's why I'm grateful for the Man's Grief meeting. It is really a blessing and it really helps people. So when it comes to helping people, Tina, that's what I'm all about. I love helping people. So
I like
yeah.
that you mentioned the idea that it's okay to just sit there in silence. You may not be ready to talk. Being
Yes.
in the space with other men, sometimes it takes hearing other people share their journey to realize I'm not the only one feeling that way. There are other
Yes.
men, and it's validating. I know you're great at helping the men's grief, but let's talk about James Price outside of widowhood.
Yeah. Mhm.
You have some speaking engagements going on, you
Yes.
have a
Yes.
YouTube channel. Let's hear about that and other things about you and what your passions are.
Yes, yes. My Ever since I became a widower, I said, okay, I want to help others. And it wasn't immediate because I said, okay, like I told you, my faith. I truly do believe in God and his son, Jesus Christ. I believe that. So I felt that God wanted me to help others. And I said, man, okay. I said, God, you want me to help other people? I'm the one needs some help. And I said, okay, I be obedient to what God wants and I'll help people. So I started a YouTube channel. And once I realized that I am helping people, that's when it really became gratifying for me. Now I don't make all this money and rolling in the dough or nothing like that. I'm just enjoy helping other human beings. I don't care about where you're from in the world. I don't care what color you are. I don't care about any of that. Long as I can help people, like, these people, like, breathe and just like I do. They put their pants on just like they go through things in life just like I do. And if I can help someone, that's what it's all about. So my YouTube channel, I started out with my YouTube channel I just put a camera right in front of me and I just start talking like, whatever, man. And then I started to learn how to edit videos just on the fly. I wasn't taught how to do anything. I said, I'm just going to do it. And I started a YouTube channel and so many people from other parts of the world. This is not just America. It's not just the United States where you and I are. These people from like Australia, South Africa, like reaching out to me and they're like, man, I looked at your videos and, they really helped me. And my wife just passed away. And I'm like, wow, you tell me my wife was healthy and she just dropped dead on her morning jog. I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. So I'm just offering condolences so much. And just helping people is a passion that I've developed. And now, and like you mentioned, I have speaking engagements. And this just stuff and I felt that this is what I was going to be doing, but I couldn't see it. I knew it was going to happen, but I just didn't see it coming to fruition, but it is now. And I actually have a speaking engagement, my very first professional speaking engagement, this month. It's in about a week and a half, and it's in North Carolina. I'm going to be in. I think it's North. No, that's Norfolk. Well, it's in Durham, North Carolina. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be talking to people about grief. And I'm just gonna, just do the best I can. I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be real and honest with people. And I'm gonna tell people what worked for me, how all the circumstances that I use in my life that helped me because I just want to help people. So I believe that when you're transparent, when you're real and honest, I believe that'll be a blessing to other people and will help them deal with what they're going through because, I'm learning that like you said something very, very, very like strong for me to understand that it's not just like, time heals all wounds. It's like, okay, what if you're in this state of mind? What if you were thinking this way? That you just taught me something. So I understand it. I'm gonna put that in my speech. I'm gonna add that. So, don't sue me for that, Tina, but I'm gonna use all of that, man, because everybody may not be in the same mindset set that I'm in. And I have to understand that. And that's part of, you know, being like a grief coach or expert or whatever you want to call me. That's
Grief
what they're calling me.
advocacy. Yeah.
Yeah, advocacy. Yes. They're calling me like, oh, you're a grief coach or a
Oh,
grief
you are.
expert.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've said, wow, it's kind of weird other people calling me that, but it is what it is. I'm just grateful to be able to help other people. And I feel that because of platform that you have has helped me tremendously. And I also feel that this is going to be good for not just for me, but
Yeah.
for other people because this helps me too. Whenever I can just sit there and listen to others and what they're going through, that helps me as well. So it's been 8 years, but I can always learn. I'm open to learning from others. Just, I just love doing this. I love doing this. So thank you, Tina, for your platform. I'm just so grateful, man. God is just good in my life. Yeah,
Mm.
it ain't perfect. It ain't perfect. I have my issues. I gotta say, Lord, help me. What's going on with me? But I'm alive. And that's the way I look at it. I'm alive today. Okay. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for life. Let's just try to make the best out of what I have today. I don't focus on tomorrow. I focus on right now today. This is the only thing guaranteed to me is right now. So that's how
What
I
is
live my life.
what is the name of your YouTube channel?
It's James Price Ministry.
Okay.
That's the name of it. James Price Ministry. And
Where else can
people can
people find you on social media?
my social media is, at James Andre Price. That's my middle name. You can find me. It's like James James DeAndre Deandre Price. James DeAndre Price. You can find me on there. You can go to social media. You can find me on X, LinkedIn, all of that. You can
Mm.
find me on all of the social media platforms. And and like I said, I just love helping others, man. That's what I'm all about, just helping other people.
I
Yeah.
have one final question for you.
Yeah. Huh?
If you were to speak to yourself the week after your daughter passed, now this means your wife has passed and now your daughter. What would you tell yourself then? Knowing everything you know now, and you were able to step back and talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself?
That is the best question I've ever had. Ever. That is the best question ever. Knowing everything that I know now, and I could talk to myself, I would tell myself, don't give up. It's going to get better. And the reason it's going to get better is because you're not giving up. I would tell myself that do not give up. It's going to get better. When you help other people, you get better. When you have people like yourself that has a platform to help others, you will get better. If you align yourself up with others who have been through what you are going through, life can get better. It can get easier and you can it's more culpability when you're dealing with others who know exactly what you've been through. And you can't say, okay, I'm gonna become a rapper now because no, becoming a rapper is not gonna help you deal with this type of grief. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep things into context. You getting what Getting lining yourself up with people that know exactly what you are dealing with is the best way to go. That's what I would tell myself, man. Align yourself with like-minded people who know exactly what you're going through, who know how who can help you. Just sit there and listen at times. Like for me, it was tough because, I look at myself like this. I know it all. I'm a tough guy. I got this. And no, I didn't. I didn't have it. What I mean? I had to pretty much shut up. Just shut up, listen, sit back, learn, because there's people that know more than you do, and these people can help you. So that's what I had to do. I would tell myself to just listen and just learn and just relax, shut up, and just learn. That's what I would tell myself. If I could go back and tell myself, that's exactly what I would do. Just learn.
Thank you. I'm going to say something to our listeners. And James, I would like for you to close this out. Maybe there's something you thought we were going to talk about, we didn't, a subject or whatever that looks like. I
Mhm.
want to thank you for being a part of this conversation with James Price. He is an integral part of Widowhood Real Talk with Tina. We could not support the men, the widowers, if it were not for James. So I invite you to share this with any man that you know that is grieving, that is looking for a safe space. And our next podcast coming up is a mini series that we have of widowhoods and healing through the holidays, going through the month of November all the way through January. So I invite you to check out this series that's coming up. This is our last podcast for the month of October. And I think I'm going to have James back on a regular basis to check in with him and see how he's doing with the men.
And it would be just an absolute honor. I would love that. I'm always available for whatever Tina wants because I know that she's helping others. I'm always here, man. It's just an honor to be here talking with you, Tina, talking with all of you guys, everyone listening. I'm here for you guys, man. This is what I'm doing. This is what I do. I'm very real. I'm very transparent. I just want to help you, man. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what I know would help you. And everything that we've talked about on this video, this podcast is honest truth, man. And that's what it's all about. I'm all about being truthful and honest. And I know that if I'm truthful and honest, and I could help others. If I'm just lying and just not being real, I don't want to I don't want to let people know this about myself or that about myself. No, I'm not about that, man. I'll tell you anything. If I know it'll help you, I'll just tell you. I don't care if I'm looking bad in other people's eyes. I don't care, man. I've heard people told me, "No, you don't have to tell them that. No, you shouldn't tell." But this is who I am. This is like organically me, just telling the truth, man. And I know that telling the truth helps people. That's what I'm all about: helping people, being honest, so I can help the next man, and the next man, or the next woman. I'm not all about just helping men. I help women as well. I help anybody who's been through loss, and that's what it's all about.
Thank you, James. See you next week.
I see you.
Thank you for spending another episode with Widowhood Real Talk. If you found the contents of today helpful, share the episode to anyone you know who may need it. Subscribe to the show and tune into Widowhood Real Talk each week. Then visit widowhood-realtalkwithtina.org to join the community and access additional resources. Remember, you are not alone in this journey.